Hey guys, I'm Phil Harris.
And I'm Ashlee Harris.
We are Shred MX Conditioning, and we provide online fitness and nutrition coaching, as well as in-person riding clinics for riders and racers from local to pro.
Now, we're racers ourselves, so we'll be talking about all things moto on this channel, from motocross, fitness and nutrition, injury, prevention and maintenance, local races, amateur nationals, pro events, current happenings in the sport, and everything in between. So whether you're on the road or in the garage, turn it up and enjoy.
This is Shred MX Shop Talk. Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 5. We're here to talk about our weekend from Log Road and whatever else comes up.
Yeah, and we're sitting over here giggling at you because every time we start one of these, it's like deer in the headlights. I'm like, Phil, are you ready to start? He's like, yeah. And then he'll say like, welcome back, welcome to episode 5, and then nothing. So
And total pause.
Just a fun little update for you guys. This is
A little
take,
behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is take 2. So all good. Anyway, so yeah, we just got back from Log Road in Michigan for the Loretta Lynn's area qualifier, and I think it's the Mideast. Is that right? Mideast region?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mideast.
Mideast. Yeah. So
I always get that confused.
me too. Northeast is going to High Point, so Mideast is going to Red Bud.
Okay, yeah.
So Mideast area qualifier for Loretta's. We actually left Friday morning. Practice was Friday. Racing Saturday for me in the WMX class, and racing for Phil on Sunday in plus 25 and plus 30.
Yeah, we got up at the butt crack of dawn on Friday to leave and headed out there for practice, which was a beautiful day. And then we got like 3 rounds of practice in each. And then I actually started out feeling really good and then ended up struggling towards the end because it got really dry and I had a paddle tire on that wasn't really working at all for me. So
yeah, typically, I mean, Michigan is mostly sand tracks, and we rode at Log Road before, and usually it is pretty good sand, but Saturday was calling for rain. We knew that going in, so I was sort of sacrificing myself, saying, yeah, I'll race a mud race, it's fine. But, you know, I think they probably didn't put water down or much water at all on Friday for practice in anticipation of the rain. So, man, it dried out and got chunked out a little bit, and not like in a bad way, just not in a good way for scoop tires.
yeah, I think that's why it did get so hard too, because they didn't really like groom it at all, and it looked like if they did like turn it over for us at all for practice, it wasn't very deep at all. Like they didn't chisel it in or anything. So yeah, I think it was anticipation of the rain, which kind of was good because we did get quite a bit of it the next morning and ended up delaying us for a few hours. So
yeah, and we actually left, so usually we would leave Thursday night before something like that, camp Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, come home Sunday, but we did not take the camper because we're trying to sell it. So we drove just the truck and trailer and actually got a hotel. And I will say, getting a hotel this past weekend was the saving grace with that mud. Because, okay, so Friday we rode practice, went back to the hotel, got up Saturday morning, and it was already raining. So I'm like looking for posts on, you know, Log Road's Facebook page or whatever, and it said they were going to delay an hour. I found that out after we got to the track, and it's like raining.
yeah, it was like pouring pretty much at that point.
Yeah, so we're already at the track, and they were going to delay an hour. Practice was supposed to start at 8. They pushed it back to 9. So then you had got out of the truck. We pulled in there. You had got out of the truck and was trying to walk over to the bathroom, and you came right back, and you're like, nope, that's not going to work. My feet.
I think I made it like 5 feet out of the truck. It was like a pond everywhere by us.
Yeah, so we sat there for a few minutes, and then I had the radio turned on so I could listen to their announcements, and I heard that they were going to wait for the rain to stop because they had water running across the track, and if they tried to do anything to it, they were going to make it worse if they, you know, tried to do anything to it or sent bikes out on it. So they're going to wait for the rain to stop. So I was like, okay, Phil, we need to roll out of here and run to Walmart, which was right over by our hotel, which was 20 minutes away, and get you some muck boots because I'm not dealing with you with wet feet all day.
Yeah, I did have 2 pairs of shoes with me, but there was no way I was going to make it through the weekend. So
they were Vans.
Yeah.
They were not waterproof.
No, I was going to be like swimming around pretty much.
Yeah.
So I am thankful that we did at that time. We ran back out and did the old Walmart stop, and we got a little bit of rain gear, and we headed back to the track. And luckily, once we got back, and it did taper off, and then it stayed away the rest of the day. It didn't rain anymore, but it was still pretty soggy in the pits and everything. So I was thankful that I did grab some muck boots that I can leave in the trailer now for those occasions.
Right. That's how you collect things. When you need them, you go buy them, and then you leave them in there. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got back, and I think they ended up starting practice, I think around 10 or 10:30, it stopped raining. And they started, I don't think they did too much prep. They just started letting bikes out for practice. And I knew, like I walked up there, I wasn't until practice 6. And I could see that it was pretty slimy. And they were giving us 2 laps because we were already so delayed. We needed to get the program rolling. So I'm like, I'm not going to go trash my bike for 2 laps. Like I got to ride all day yesterday. The track's going to be different by the time I get out there. It'll be fine. Well, then I find out we're Moto 2. So we were very early on in the schedule, which is great. We got out of there early, but that meant the track was very slimy for first motos.
Yeah. And it didn't really like start to shape up for you guys yet for second motos either. It was still it wasn't slimy, but it was still pretty wet.
Yeah.
It was slowly starting to get beat in.
So I show up for my first moto, cold turkey, no practice Saturday morning, and I hate doing that. Like, even if it is typically only a 2-lap practice, I'll go out there. It's kind of like a warm-up, like get adjusted. Like for me, when I put my knee braces on, I gotta like ride in them for a second to like get them to like sit where I want them to sit, my boots to feel good. Like you kind of have to like ride in your comfort for the day, like let everything adjust itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I also thought too, like it's been a little while since I've dealt with like mud, like sand mud. And anyone listening to this, if you have dealt with it, you understand that when it gets wet, it doesn't stick as much. It just kind of like, it's muddy, it kind of trashes tear-offs and like gear and everything, but it doesn't get like all heavy on like your helmet or like the bike and everything. But I was a little bit concerned about that for you going out in the practice. It was going to totally trash the bike, but I guess hindsight looking back, like it probably wouldn't have been too terrible for you to go out for those couple laps because it wasn't going to cake onto the bike so much. I could have got it sprayed off.
No, but I was still coated after first moto. Like
I was still trashed. Definitely. I mean, like
boots and everything. So my biggest concern was my boots. I actually need a new pair of boots, but I can't find anything in stock in a size 5 from Alpine Stars. I wear the Tech 7s. I can't get the Tech 10s because they don't make them in my size. So I shop for Tech 7s. They make them in a size 5. But I can't find anything right now. So I had 1 pair of boots to wear. And I'm like, if I trash my boots and then you pressure wash them, my feet are going to be soaked. They just get wet. I don't have spare boots. So I wasn't sad that I didn't ride practice, but it was still like, yeah, showing up for first moto cold turkey.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to do that. Luckily, I mean, we did ride Friday, so you at least knew the track and everything. But
yeah, I was fine. I will say too, because I know a lot of, especially riders around here in Ohio, haven't traveled out of the state to ride, or at least haven't traveled to sand to ride. So just kind of like you were talking about wet clay versus wet sand, wet clay is very sticky, and it especially if it's deep, the ruts get really difficult to navigate because they don't move. Whereas in sand, when it's wet like that, it just ends up being slimy. And at Log Road, they have a pretty hard base there. So it was like wet, slimy sand on top of some slippery, hard base dirt, and it made it challenging, very much challenging. So first moto I lined up, and I didn't realize this or didn't think about it before we went, but I raced Summit, and that's the last gate drop I had. So this is the first outdoor gate drop of the year, which all in, let's go, at an area qualifier. But the gate dropped, and I got to the first turn, and it's like a left-hand turn, and it wraps around these jumps. So like when you're practicing and they let you out for practice, they run you over the jumps, but for the actual first turn, they run you around the jumps. If you've been there, you know what I mean. If not, it's probably confusing, but anyways. So I had to remember when I got to the first turn to go around the jumps instead of through them like you do for practice and the rest of the time you're riding the track. And you even reminded me of that on the gate.
I did.
And it's like I knew that, I remembered that, but when I got down there, I was just so used to cutting that turn hard because when they let us out for practice, that's what you got to do. That I started to do that, and I started to slide out, and I was okay. And then a girl behind me ran into my handlebars on my left side with my hand still on them, slammed into them, which took us down, the two of us and some other chicks down. So anyways, I don't know if I caused it, she caused it, doesn't really matter. We were down in the first turn, and I thought my hand was broken. Because it just got, like, I felt the impact. It was like metal on my hand, on my handlebar. And I was like, man, my hand is broken. I get up and I'm like, if I can just finish the race, like, I'll be fine, you know, like, if I can get through it, I'll be fine. And then the goal here is just to get to Redbud. There was 9 girls, so as long as I finished, I'm in for the regional. Like, you just got to ride. So I got going, and actually 2 turns later was going too slow because my hand, because I just got up, because mud, and fell over again in a corner and was pissed off at myself. So at that point in time, hands stopped hurting because it was just adrenaline and I'm mad. So I get up, go, make it back to what, I think 5th place?
Yeah, you got 5th the first moto.
So not bad. Came off, pulled my glove off, found out that there's this gash in like that soft skin. It's like wet, like that webbing skin between your thumb and your index finger, a big old gash there. And my knuckles on like my pinky and my ring finger started turning purple. So like I wasn't, again, sure if it was broken. I don't think it is now. It's still sore, like super sore, but I can use it. So anyway, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I think I can race second moto. Let's do it. So we rode around, and it was actually kind of clearing up at that point, wasn't it? Weather-wise?
Yeah, the sun was starting to peek out a little bit and everything. I mean, the pits were still pretty soggy, but yeah, the sun was intermittently peeking out, and it had like, for the most part, had like warmed up.
Yeah.
And everything.
It was
I
like,
think we're at probably about at our high for the day.
yeah, it was getting decent out. Like we were walking around the pits and stuff, but
We were able to shed a few layers that
right.
we had on from the morning.
Right. So I line up for second moto, and I'm like, I even told myself this on the start. I'm like, it doesn't even matter if you get a bad start. You just need to go ride. Like, you can chase from behind if you have to. Like, just get out there. So then the gate drops, and I think this is, you might have taken a video of the other one. Anyways, so this is the other kind of frustrating part. We were a qualifying class, the WMX class. They had us with a couple other classes, a 30 BC class, a plus 40, a plus 45 maybe, and because they were running local classes as well, which is fine. But they dropped us with the 30 BC class when we were a qualifying class and they weren't. So that was frustrating. And the reason I say that is because dude on the left of me shot across, in the video that you got, you can see it. He shot across 2 gates into my line,
yeah,
right out of the gate.
Squirrely out of the
I'm
gate.
like, so I had to shut down. So again, frustrated, whatever. Second moto, I get down to the first turn, and this one was totally my fault. It was just slimy, that loose sand on top of hard packed dirt. Wash the front end, and there's a video of this too, which is fabulous. But like I fell or whatever, and then like a chick that was behind a little ways plows into me, into my leg and my butt cheek, basically. That's bruised. But I felt my ankle pop. And again, it's kind of like one of those things like you just gotta finish this race. So I get up, get myself going, and pass back up to 6th in that one. But man, between my hand and my leg, like I'm like, what is going on today? I promise I know how to get through the first turn. It's like, it was just one of those things like borderline embarrassing, but I don't even care. Like
the worst part was I didn't even get to see either one. I was literally like, watch you down. It looked like you're all going through the first turn. Reach down, get your blocks, look up, and you're picking yourself up off the ground. Both times.
You should know better by now. Don't look away.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but I thought with it, for the conditions, the way the track was, and I try not to say things because you are what you say you are. I'm not a great mud rider. I work on it, and I ride in the mud sometimes so that I can get better. That's how you get better at things. That's why I challenged myself to go do this. I'm like, you'll be fine. So with all of that being said, I felt like I actually didn't ride too terribly bad for the conditions. So I'm in one piece, a little banged up, but in one piece and in for the regional. So overall, not my best day by any means, but not my worst either. So
Yeah, it was a tough track. And you obviously had a bunch of adversity to deal with. So,
Yeah.
like you said, like you made it through the weekend, you got in, and now we just look forward to, doing some other racing and then getting to the regionals and take that as its own race.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then that's where like so the it was clearing up weather-wise, but man, the pits were saturated and we were like in a lower area. They have a couple different parking areas there and we were in like a lower area and it was just like soaked by us the whole weekend. It ended up staying soaked the whole weekend, but so this is where I've never done this before. Like went to a race and stayed at a hotel. We've always just camped there or got there the day of. So muddy pits, everything's muddy, everything's wet, soaked, just like a little bit like, chilled to the bone. We left there and got out of the mud and went back to the hotel and got like hot food and a hot shower. And man, like that was probably the best decision for this past weekend.
Yeah, it did work out good with the weather that we had.
Yeah. And we've stayed at the sketchy little inexpensive hotels before and have had our fair share of issues. So we did choose to stay at a Hampton, which was fabulous. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but man, it's worth like the extra $50.
Yeah, and we had breakfast every morning, so that was sweet.
And free
Got
snacks.
Yeah, eat breakfast in the morning. We didn't have to chase that around and then head out from there to the track.
Yeah.
So it made it really easy that way.
Yeah, so that was
And yeah, like you were saying, nice room. We didn't have to worry about a sketchy hair dryer or anything
oh my
like
God,
that.
right. Yeah, but that was Saturday, so we got to get clean, get the mud off. I was obviously very banged up, but then Sunday was your day to race. So,
Yeah, I ended up getting. I mean, it was a little overcast and chilly in the morning, but overall, it was a. I got the nice day of racing this year. Last year, I kind of got the short end of the stick on the my days of qualifying. You always seem to get the nice days, so yeah, I kind of flip flop. And from all the moisture on Saturday, I ended up making the track really sweet. Like there were certain spots that were soft if you got a little bit out of like off to the edges and certain areas of the track, but for the most part, it was prime, and especially for having the scoop that we were both running, it which I was like super worried about after the track got really dried out Friday, so I was all stressing it, and then we got there and yeah, we had like chocolate cake, so it was sweet, and I got out there and I was actually stoked when I came off that first practice. You said I looked like I was on rails, so I was feeling really good and just ready to go. I kind of tried to put everything out of my mind from Friday when I wasn't feeling good to just take it as a new day. And yeah, it was awesome. The day was beautiful, and we had some nice sunshine, some nice weather. Didn't get any more rain or anything like that, and the track was sweet. It got really rough too in the second motos.
yeah, and so I want to talk about your results and like your motos and stuff, but I do want to talk about because that was a big kind of like thing glaring us in the face while we were there, and I know other riders, racers deal with it. Friday, that third practice, you actually pulled off early because you felt like not good at all. You're like, I don't even deserve to be out there. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, your quote unquote going slow is like unimaginable speed for me. So, like, stop it. But I get it, like when you don't feel like you're riding to your potential. And that mood kind of, like, I know this because I'm your wife. I've been with you for a long time. That mood kind of hung over you the rest of Friday and kind of a lot of Saturday too. So, how did you get yourself out of that for Sunday? Like, what was your thought process when you woke up Sunday morning? Like, just brand new day, ready to get out there and let her eat?
It was tough. Like you said, I kind of carried it from Friday into Saturday, even though I wasn't riding or racing that day. And I just kind of kept thinking about it throughout the day. And I kept trying to tell myself, like, the track is going to be different. It's going to be different on Sunday, especially with all the rain we got. But I kept, kind of ended up turning back to that thought of, like, how dry it was and how skatey it was for me on Friday and how, like, not great I felt on track. And yeah, it kind of hung over me and hung over me. I even, like, Sunday when I got up, like in the morning, we were down having breakfast. I was like, still almost like I could feel myself trying to like think that way. And it was like everything I could do. I just kept trying to push it away and just kept telling myself, like, it's a new day. It's going to be different today. Let's just take it more or less one step at a time. And I just tried to, once we got to the track and I was geared up to go out for practice, I tried to just totally like wipe any of those thoughts away. And then once I got on the track and, well, I seen it in the morning, and once we got out there to ride it, and I, got to see and feel how good it was, all those thoughts kind of went away, luckily.
Yeah, but I do think like that mental battle is something that a lot of us struggle with. We put pressure on ourselves and we have expectations and we want to do so good or we want to win or whatever. So when you have like an off practice session, it's so easy to carry that throughout your weekend. But that's something that, I feel like we've really worked on since we've been together and been riding and racing together is mind over matter. Like you are exactly what you say you are. So if you say that you're a crap rider and you're not going to do well there, then you're not, and I've watched you go from being that way to the person you are now, where you can put that stuff aside and just go out there and let your riding speak for itself and not let those thoughts affect your riding. You're so able to just put that out of the way and go do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's taken a long time, but 100%. I mean, if I would have went out there and been in that same mindset that I had from the end of the day on Friday, kind of through Saturday, if I would have carried that all the way into practice on Sunday, I would have 100% rode the same way or probably even a little worse, because I would have already been prepared to not feel good on the bike or whatever it may be. And I've just tried to learn to take, each day or each practice session, sometimes each lap, as just like you try to treat it as a new one, a new, experience, new, whatever it may be, new challenge.
A new opportunity to do better.
Yeah, exactly. New opportunity, whatever it may be. But you just got to just step forward and keep going, not really compare yourself from the past.
Yeah, not let that affect you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were, just talking back to your races, you were motos, and this is huge too, 4 and 7, which is...
I always get stacked so close at regionals and qualifiers for some reason.
Yeah, but when I told you that, so when I went up and got the running order for Sunday and I saw how close you were, I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, like, damn, he's not going to be stoked about that. But I told you that, and you didn't even bat an eyelash, and you were just like, okay, cool. And then, like, your races went really well, but you even told me after the fact that you weren't winded at all coming off of that Moto 4 race.
No, I mean, I definitely, like, was breathing, like, a little bit heavy, like, right as I come off the track. But, yeah, I wasn't, like, dying like I would have been in the past at races, especially being that close, because it was pretty much off the track and right back into staging. And, yeah, I was doing good. Like, I even had some heavy battles, and Moto 4 was my plus 30 class. And me and Jacob Berger had some heavy battles, both motos, and it felt great. Like when I come off the track, I could tell like I exerted myself, but like at the same time, like it was like as soon as I got off the track, it's like I could get my heart rate to start coming down and get back in staging, get some water in, get hydrated a little bit, and by the time we got back on the gate for Moto 7, I already felt refreshed and ready to go again.
Yeah, I remember now. That was the moto that I think you were in third. You passed for second, and then you were chasing Berger down, like chasing him down. The announcer guy even said something about it, like, oh, I don't know how he's going to hold off Harris. And I was like, hell yeah, like stoked for you.
Oh, yeah, that was first moto.
Yeah, and then so for you to be able to come off and recover that quickly to be like ready for your next moto is a huge, huge testament to your fitness level right now, which, again, like I know we've talked about this a few times, but you have to get up in the morning at 4:30 to get a workout in before you go to work. Otherwise it doesn't happen. So it's not like, we have all the time in the world to focus on our fitness either. Like you're grinding it out during the week so that way on the weekends when something like that happens, your Moto 4 and 7, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. And it was nice to see that because, I mean, in the past, I would have been winded and been probably sitting on the gate for Moto 7 still like semi-dying, going in the back of my mind, I don't know how I'm going to do this moto.
Right.
But I wasn't feeling that way at all, and it is a huge testament to my fitness level and everything now, and it's nice to feel that way because it does give me confidence because, like I said, once I lined up for that next moto, I was just ready to go. Even second moto go around, like they didn't stop or anything, so they moved through them pretty quickly, and we got right back into second motos, and I went out there and same thing, had a really good battle. It was me and Berger again, and then Dan Petrie was up there off the start for a few laps, and the three of us battled it out for a few laps, and then I ended up getting out in the lead and taking it and stuff, and the track was extremely choppy and rough, and I felt really good. Same thing, I come off and I got my heart rate down and, took some deep breaths and got some water in, and yeah, it was, by the time we lined up again for that next moto, I was same thing, ready to go, and it's great to feel that way because when I was younger, I could never do that, and I never understood like what I was missing, and even
Because you used to run when you were younger. You
oh
told me
yeah, I
that.
used to run a bunch. I'd run like 6 miles a day, and I'd lift weights like a little bit. So like I had like the cardio side of it and everything, but I just never had like the strength to hold onto the bike. So I could go fast, but I could do it for like like a handful of laps, and then especially if the track was like beat up, like the bike would beat me around and I couldn't hold on to it, and I'd get tired really quickly, and then I'd kind of go backwards to throw the anchor out.
Yeah.
So
You found your missing piece.
yeah, it's definitely helped me, and it's helped me elevate my riding in ways like I didn't expect it to. Like I've talked to you a bunch about, like, man, like I can go fast, but like how do I make that next step? And it's definitely like last year I could see it a little bit, and then like this year I'm seeing it a bunch. It's like I'm really bridging that gap. Like now I can ride like that my pace, but I can do it the entire moto, and I can actually like I have the confidence to actually push it a little more now. So I
Yeah.
feel like I'm starting to find that little extra that I always wondered where like guys get it from. So
Now, so you went 2-1 in plus 30 for the overall win.
yeah,
And then plus 25, what did you get first moto?
I got a second.
Behind.
RJ Schroyer.
That's what I thought. Okay. And then talking about pushing that little bit of extra, the second 25 moto, you were trying to get creative with the line and actually trying to go for the win. You were so close.
Yeah, I was right behind.
Was
Oh,
it?
Jeremy Taylor.
Yeah.
He had pulled the whole shot, and he was riding good. He was leading for a few laps, and had just come through and got into I think our second lap, and he was like riding good. He was pushing a little bit and stuff, and I was feeling really good. And had like a couple lines down from our plus 30 moto, and I was pushing on him, trying to kind of get him to make a mistake or like get winded real quickly. And yeah, I was coming down the left side of one straightaway, and we were all kind of taking this inside line of the next right hander. And I found it like the 2 laps later, or a lap or so later, but I wish I'd been going down the right side of the straightaway, kind of avoiding the bumps. But I was trying to go down the left instead of right through the center where it was like really, really chopped out like it typically is. And I tried to dart back kind of across some of the braking bumps to catch that inside line, and it bit me. I knifed the front end, and up and over the bars we went and kind of smashed the ground.
Yeah, so it was like right in front of me and I was watching you and it was like the bike just like fell out from under you. I was like, what the hell just happened? And sometimes that stuff happens so quick. It's like, did I miss something? And then you said you thought you might have hit just like a slimy spot and yeah, just like lost the front end. I was like, I mean, that makes sense, but we're talking like mid straightaway. Like, what gear were you in?
Probably third gear. And I
Smashing.
definitely thought I was getting run over.
Yeah, smashing the ground. I'm like, Jesus. And then I saw you get up, and it's like, you know, you were okay. You got back on the bike, and then I'm over on the side, like, just telling you, like, just finish. Like, be smart and just finish. Don't try to charge back to the front. Like, just get your ass across the checkered flag. Like, all good.
Yeah, the bike was super twisted too, so like I I wanted to push like a little bit more than like how I rode the rest of that moto, but the bars were back on the right side. They were like back towards me because they twisted in like the clamps, and then the front end was like pointing more to the left. So it was like they were like opposing each other. So it was really fun to ride like the rutted out track that we were on. So yeah, I just tried to baby her in and make it work, but we still ended up being able to get a fifth in that moto. So I got third overall.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty dang good result for that.
Yeah, I was just glad that I didn't land on my head because I'm usually really good for that. So I'm landing more like back shoulder area and kind of just tumbled through and stood right up. And I wasn't dazed or anything, but I kind of had like that quick like catch your bearings, like, oh, I just slammed the ground, but I'm good. Everything, all right, yeah, we'll do the quick assessment. We're good. All right, let's grab the bike and go.
Yeah, yeah. Another shout out to your fitness level there for keeping you from feeling like crap after that.
Yeah,
Just being strong
and stretching.
and flexible.
Yeah, being limber.
Yeah. So definitely a good weekend for us. We've got some bike work to do now.
Yeah, I
Your
had a
front
bunch of
rotor
stuff
was
to fix, and yeah, the front rotor was bent, so one of those is on order. Hopefully, we'll see that in the next day or two. And
we actually found out while we were there that my steering bearings, one of them was bad. And I think I heard it. I heard something on Friday in practice. And then Friday after, I was like doing filters or something, and I grabbed my forks and wiggled them, and they slopped back and forth in is that called the head tube?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know if that was only on bicycles. In the head tube, and they slapped, and I was like, ooh, what is that? And you tried to tighten them down, and they wouldn't go any tighter, but man, the steering was loose, and I'm like, it'll be a mud race tomorrow. It's not like I'm going to be jumping any big jumps, so it'll be fine. And it was fine. I think maybe I struggled with it a little bit, but so we've got bearings to put in. We actually have a top end for my bike that we're going to put in.
yeah, we gotta get that in, get it rebuilt. That way, it should be all fresh and good to go. And yeah, I got those new bearings on the way, so we'll get those put in, get that front end all tightened back up for you and stuff, and she should be all good to go for you.
Yeah. So otherwise, I mean, to recap, honestly, like I've still got some soreness in my hand. My cut's healing. It's in the worst place possible. So of course, every time I put a Band-Aid on it and like wash dishes or wash my hands, the Band-Aid's falling off. It's just, and then my ankle, like whatever, I'm modifying workouts. It's fine. I'll tape it and ride this weekend. Like it's not that big of a deal. More annoyances than anything for me. But I think we had a really great weekend for our first outdoor race of the year, being a mud race and an area qualifier. I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, as early as it was, like it kind of worked out. Like the weather wasn't terrible. We were like mid 50s all weekend, so we didn't like freeze too bad, and we didn't have to have 6 layers on the race. So that was nice.
Yeah, super nice. And it wasn't snowing on us as we're standing and staging.
Yeah, and it is nice to uh, have qualifiers done already. Like usually we're more on that end of like, yeah, I think we're gonna do qualifiers this year. All right, yeah. Oh, hey, it's like it's almost towards the last
It's like
few.
the last
Like,
one,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, we should do one of these, and then we do it. So yeah, it's super nice to already have one done. I'm looking forward to getting some more gate drops in and everything too, leading up to regionals, and we've been talking about possibly doing maybe a race or so up at Redbud. They have some leading up to the regional, so try to get up there a little bit and do some racing. Keep those sand legs under us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Keep riding, racing as much as we can up until then. And We are in the process of, so this is kind of leading into something else that I wanted to talk about. We're actually in the process of getting a moto van, so that should make it a little easier.
Yeah, we finally found one and pulling the trigger on it, and so hopefully we'll have that actually here in the next few days. His fingers crossed anyways, have it in the next few days. If not, should be next week, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to start using that, and then start planning on getting it all built out, and so we can really travel in it and have a good time this summer.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm super proud of about with the van is it's the shred van. Like that's what it's for, is for the business. And you know, we've grown from nothing January 1st last year, one person aside from me and you, to what we are now. And it's been a process, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of drive and not knowing what direction exactly we're going, but keep moving forward anyway. To the point now that, again, you know, almost a year and a half later, like we're able to get this van in the name of the business for the business purpose. Like I'm so excited for that. Like it just, I never feel like I'm doing enough. I don't feel like I'm working hard enough. I don't feel like I'm grinding enough. And then to like take a step back and think about that, like that's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited too that it's actually it's gonna have graphics on it too. So when we pull in the track, guys, you're gonna know that we're there, which will be awesome. So we're really excited, not only to have the moto van, but it's gonna be graphicked up too.
Yeah, so we're kind of in between. We're either going to try to wrap it, or we're just gonna do graphics from, shout out Burt MX Graphics. They don't know it yet, but they're gonna make us graphics for our van if we can't do a wrap. So thanks in advance. But anyway, so we're actually working on partnering with different brands, different companies to help us do this. So if that's something that you have a company in the industry, or even if you're not in the industry, you want to support what we're doing, we're partnering with different companies to basically have, you know, your logo on the van and other things that we're doing. I have a whole proposal put together of different tiers and things. If you're interested, just send me a message. I can shoot that your way. But we're really working on making this as legit as possible from the get-go. So getting this van, you know, we're going to have this driving billboard around with shred plastered down the side of it, and any other companies that want to support us and be a part of what we're doing, how we're helping people. So I'm really excited for that part of it too, because I've talked to, between like our personal sponsors and companies that might want to help, like there's a lot of companies that are actually very supportive of what we're doing as well. And there's been people that I've reached out to that have been like, oh yeah, I've heard of you guys, that I'm like, really? Like one of the tracks out in California reached out to me at one point in time and said they knew us. You know, just random people or companies that I would have never thought like would have heard.
We even had that over the weekend, a few people that we ran into walking around like handing out like our little flyers and stuff that we did for the weekend. We had people that we ran into that were like, oh, we've heard of you guys, or we've seen that before.
Yeah, or they've seen like, man, I use social media so much for marketing. They've seen some of our stuff on social media, which is cool. Like that's the reason I work on that so heavily, is because it reaches people. Social media is a free marketing tool. Like it takes a lot of freaking work on my end, but it's doing its job if it's reaching the right people.
Oh, without a doubt. And it's kind of crazy sometimes, like I see you doing all the work, so it's like I know you're putting it in, but it's neat for me, and I know it's, you know, it's rewarding for you to have people tell you that they're seeing it on there, and you know, or people know what it is just from seeing it from social media and everything. So yeah, it's been growing a lot that way, and the name is getting all over.
Yeah, so it's funny because I always think it's cool when someone knows what our business is because of social media. But if someone comes up to me and tells me they know me personally, like, oh, I know you from social media, or like, you're Ashlee, you're Mrs. Harris 779 on Instagram, that is like weird to me. I don't know why, but I'm like, Yeah, I am. But if you know my business from social media, I am like freaking stoked on it. Not one is not really different from the other because I run both pages the same. But it's funny to me. Like I'm stoked on one and the other one, I'm like, this is so weird. So, anyways, just kind of a funny thing there. But so with all of this, kind of going on and talking about the van and everything, we haven't really taken the time to explain on the podcast here what we do and how it differs from, the Troll training, the MX Fitco, all of these other trainers, because they are popping up, right? There's people that are focused on fitness training for motocross athletes. Some of them also do nutrition, but I wanted to touch on mainly how we're different from them because I think that's important. So yes, Shred MX conditioning, fitness and nutrition coaching for motocross athletes.
Yeah, what makes us stick out though?
Yeah, what makes us, I guess. So, a big thing that I talk about with everyone is I'm not the one size fits all coach. We take into consideration every single person's starting point, whether you're 18 years old, coming out of high school, and you want to chase your pro license, or you're 55 years old, haven't worked out since high school, and want to get back into it so that you can feel better riding again. And it's funny because someone that I just recently started working with is in that situation, and he asked me, when we were getting everything set up, he's in his email, he said, I just have a quick question. Have you worked with anyone as old and out of shape as I am? And I kind of giggled to myself and I responded to his email and told him, actually I've worked with a rider over 60 years old who has been doing nothing. He's retired and realizes that he can't continue to sit around and not do anything because if you don't use it, you lose it. That includes the ability to move. You have to move your body. So long story short, my answer was yes, I have. But I've also worked with riders as young as 12 years old and tailor a program to them. Obviously, your program, yours, Phil, you look different, your workouts look different than mine because we have different goals, we have different bodies.
Yeah, and I also have different amounts of time as far as when I can get workouts in and everything too, so we kind of have to tailor it around that and adjust it for my schedule.
And that's a huge piece that I talk about as well, adjusting to the time you have available. If you only have 2 days a week to work out, I'm not going to tell you should be working out 5. That's dumb. That's not helpful.
No.
So, or the equipment that you have available. Some people have access to a full gym. Some people have access to a home gym with limited equipment. Some people don't have equipment. You have to be able to work with any situation. And I mean, me working with you is great practice for that. But I work with so many different riders with different situations and tailor it to them that it's all the way around. Everyone's on we're all doing generally the same exercises, everything that's focused around the muscles and movement patterns we use most when riding, but it's all tailored to each individual.
Right, you can't give everyone the same generic workout though, because it's not a perfect world. We don't all have the same time frame, okay, from 3 to 4 o'clock every day I have an hour to work out. It's not a perfect world. Not everyone has that freedom or that time frame or whatever it may be. So it's you got to tailor stuff for those, for each individual due to their personal goals, personal lifestyle, whatever it may be.
And I've actually heard of a couple times here just recently in our own lives when someone has tried out a different program and basically, from my understanding, they're being assigned the same program as a 30-something-year-old parent that has a full-time job and races and rides for fun. They're being assigned the same program as, a 16-year-old who has all the time in the world to focus on working out and riding and does, maybe schoolwork but nothing else. That makes me so frustrated because that puts a bad taste in someone's mouth for working with motocross fitness coaches. They're like, oh, well, I'm just going to be assigned the same one-size-fits-all program. That's not good programming.
Yeah, I'm going to get these 5 workouts to do all the time, and I'm gonna be told to eat chicken and rice only.
And ride as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, cool. That's not
Ride
how
every day
life
of the week
works.
if you can.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're listening, you know who you are that just said that to us. So, anyways, but yeah, that's not what we do at all. The other thing too, like, I think some people think that they have to be really chasing a goal in racing to justify wanting to work out and, like, you know, dial in your nutrition for it. Like, you don't have to be a pro rider, you don't have to be chasing a pro license, you don't have to be anything. Like, if you just ride dirt bikes and you
You
want
just
to,
want to take care of
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. If you want to take care of yourself and your body and learn how to do it a little bit better, like, those are the people we work with. Anyone who's just looking for, like, to feel a little bit better. We do also focus on the performance side of it. You know, the nutrition piece is huge for performance, especially in long races. So there's a piece of that too, but we as a company are not just focused on top level athletes, because I feel like you and I both are, you know, me more so than you, and a very average level, never going to be like, you know, much of anything in the sport, not in a bad way or anything, but just like, you know, I'm not going to be the next Ashlee Filek out there, like, women rider, like, killing it. Like, I do it for fun and I love it. It's my passion. So, but I also want to feel good doing it and be able to ride for as long as possible. So, while yes, we work with the whole range of
Yeah, I
riders,
was
like,
gonna say that too. Like, you guys listen. Like, don't take us wrong. We want to work from everyone from grassroots to the very top pros. But we don't just focus on, the very top athletes. We want to work with everyone, especially, local riders and stuff that want to just feel better. Whether, okay, if you're focused on like riding, like that's what most people focus on, like, cool. But if you also just want to feel better day to day, like off the bike, or, oh, I want to go racing, but I don't want to hurt for the next 2 or 3 days after, like, well, let's help you out with that too. Like, we want people like that to come around and, let us help you out with that stuff, because
yeah,
we can make a difference in that. And I mean, I feel I'm living testimony to that. Like, I hurt from so many things and so many injuries I've had, and it's amazing now to not have a 2-day effect after racing.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And from, you know, my standpoint, just being able to control the bike so much better. Being a smaller female that rides, like, it's taken
Oh
a
yeah.
lot to get myself strong enough to be able to feel super comfortable on a 250F.
But that, and then I was gonna say, that even leads you into more confidence on the track, because now you're not like worried that the bike's gonna drag you all over the place. Like, you can actually control it.
Right. And I feel like, honestly, I mean, what we charge for what we do is the amount of time that we have into each rider that we work with. I do feel like we undercharge, but that's to make it accessible to damn near anyone. I want someone, if they need help, you know, even if it's not in an official capacity, if someone has a question or needs help with something, I want you to know that you can come to either one of us and ask those questions, and I will do whatever I can to help you. Like, no, I'm not going to coach for free. Like, we're running a business here. But at the same time, if I can offer some type of small guidance to help you with your fitness and nutrition, and I know you've done it with, like, riding tips, like, just offered little stuff to people here and there, like,
Yeah, little tips and tricks. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I might not give you everything when you ask, if someone asks me, but at the same time, like, if someone's asking me some pointers or something at the
yeah, like
track, like,
something specific.
yeah, I could help out a little bit. Or same thing, yeah, with the fitness or nutrition. If you just have a couple like general questions or whatever, like, yeah, come ask either one of us. We're open to that.
Yeah, and one thing as well that we do that I don't know, I've never tried a different coaching program for racing, so I wouldn't know. But we place a big emphasis on corrective exercise as well, with our team of riders as well as ourselves. So corrective exercise meaning, before we even get started with workouts, we go through an assessment process. So I can look at how your posture is, look at how your body's moving, and see if there's any like movement impairments, basically that stem from prior injuries, overuse, tight muscles, weak muscles, all of these types of things. Like your body has a preferred way to move. If you have prior injuries or tightness in one area of your body and your body can't move like it was built to, it will adapt. Your body will figure out how to still do the motion you're asking it to do, but maybe not in the most efficient way possible, which, okay, short term doesn't really change much, but long term, your body is all connected. So if one piece isn't moving exactly the way it's supposed to, it starts a chain reaction affecting other areas of your body. Like, for example, my ankle is sprained right now. I have no idea. It's making me limp. If that didn't heal somewhat quickly, which it will, it's fine. If I limped forever, a limp on one side is eventually going to cause my knees issues because that's the next piece in the chain. And then it's going to cause my hips to have issues. And then because I'm walking crooked, so you can see like, as you think about it in your mind, like how doing that is going to affect you over time and make you hurt. It's like riding with something broken on your bike. Yeah, initially it's not going to hurt anything, but if you keep doing it, it's going to cause wear and tear on other parts that is going to create bigger issues. So the corrective exercise piece kind of goes through that right off the bat and addresses any of those problematic areas. And we have some people that are like, no, I'm good. I don't need that piece. Like, cool, you don't have to have it. It's just something we offer. And I think it's very important due to how many of us have injuries that cause us continued pain, continued issues, or even if they're not old injuries, just for me, for example, I've worked at a desk job my whole life. So I have postural issues from sitting at a computer all day. That's a real thing. You know, you worked at a cemetery using a spud bar, digging holes for headstones for how many years? So you were all tight in your chest and like forward and everything. We've had to do a lot of work to work through that.
Yeah, I did. And even now, like, I'm still dealing with, I'm not at the cemetery anymore, but from sitting in a truck delivering furniture and everything during the week, it tears up my lower back. So I have to do a lot of stretching and different things to keep that from bothering me going into the weekend and everything. So I've had to learn to deal with those issues, but it's nice that I know ways to either help keep that stuff away or help it out when I am having an issue.
Yeah, I like to call that body maintenance.
Yes.
Maintenance on the body. So one other thing too that's happened since we have last done a podcast is you are officially an assistant coach on the fitness and nutrition side.
Yeah, we did announce that not too long ago. So I am officially coaching alongside of you now, and I have a couple clients I'm taking care of. And yeah, be open to take on more clients if anyone wants to work underneath of me. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's still all, similar programming. It's still all the ShredMX conditioning programming, but we do, check-ins either weekly or monthly, depending on what program every rider is on. So you're focused more on the monthly check-in clients right now, which is more of just the fitness side of things. But I mean, I was getting to the point where, I have so many things to do to try to keep up with what I have. It's like, hey, are you ready to do this? And you're like, sure. So kind of for you, like learning the business side of it first, again, with, the same programming, like I'm designing the workouts, teaching you as we go, and with the intentions of you becoming a certified personal trainer down the road and everything. And, but yeah, it's been a big help and a big weight off of my shoulders watching you conduct yourself with the riders as a coach. Like you slid right into the role. Like I don't know if it's because you've listened to me do it or you just knew what you wanted to do, but it hasn't been like a very big learning curve for you. You just dropped right in there and was like, yep, I'm ready to do this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. I need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to help out. I want to see the business grow, so if I'm going to help out in any way I can. So, yeah, especially when she started saying that you needed extra help with it, I was definitely open to doing that, especially like I've told you, and a lot of people might not know, is I had gone to school for a little while to be like a physical therapist and a physical like a trainer as well. And I was doing like a little bit of fitness and nutrition classes and all kinds of stuff along those lines. So it's just kind of bringing that back full circle. So it wasn't too hard to get me interested in wanting to help you out with that. And yeah, I mean, I have listened to you a bunch, but at the same time, like for one, it's nice to be able to like work with moto people. Like we all have something in common, obviously, so it's easy to talk to people like that. But at the same time, like I know what we're trying to do here, so it's I don't know, it's not hard for me to go about it and do the job, I guess you could put it.
Yeah, and you have so much experience yourself personally in the program because I've been writing it for you for a while now, and you've been following it from like the get-go. But also just
Original guinea pig.
yeah, but also with writing and just being part of the community. And I think that's what makes it so. I would call it fun for me, and I'm sure for you too. But it's like taking an opportunity to help people, but pairing it with something that we're both super passionate about, and it's like this is the business that we're building. Like, how freaking cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like thinking, I'm just generally excited too to be able to like help you, but like help people, like help riders that we know and also meeting riders we don't know and getting to help new people. And it's just nice. Like, I feel like we're working towards being able to really help grow the sport.
I agree. And yes, obviously we're running a business, which means we have to make money so we can survive. But what we're doing, in my opinion, in my heart, I know is so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger than running a business so we can make money to live on it. It's truly like in both of us, this is what we're focused on, is just helping as many people as we can. And I believe that, the rest follows. Like if I just keep focusing on helping people as much as I can, doing what I can do to help, and now having you by my side doing the same thing, like one foot in front of the other, doing what we can, the rest will follow. So I am also extremely excited to see how we can change people's lives, how we can change the sport, how we can grow the sport, get people interested in it, and just feeling more confident in themselves and continuing to ride. There's just so many benefits that come from our what I consider still a little business.
Yeah. I'm excited too, like to be able to like teach people like through like motoness, like the training stuff, but teach them good habits that they can take with them down the road and possibly teach other people or their kids, if they have kids or anything like that, they'll be able to pass it down and carry those good habits even if they're not continually working with us. So that's exciting side of it too.
Yeah, and that's actually another piece that I wanted to talk about. So the workouts are like that. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for a workout program, you kind of just continue to either follow the same workout program or you find different workout programs to do. Usually everyone has some type of structured workout program to follow. Talking about though, like long term, and even if we're not working together, that is how we focus our nutrition piece. So a lot of times I have heard with nutrition, you kind of alluded to it, most people say, oh, eat chicken and rice, like fruits, vegetables, whole foods, chicken and rice. Cool. We don't do specific meal plans. we focus on education around nutrition. And again, seeing where you are currently at and building, you know, a path to get you where you want to go in small, achievable steps. Because if you're trying to change everything all at once, it's miserable. You don't want to do it. And you're probably not going to get good results from it because you're hating it the whole time. So, small steps to get where you want to go, but teaching you along the way. That way, to your point, at some point in time in the future, because I don't want people to have to be relying on us, especially for nutrition coaching forever. Like, I want to teach people about it and then send you off on your own. Like, 3 months is the minimum requirement that I ask for in the program. That's because I like to see 3 months of commitment from you with your nutrition and then send you off on your own if you're ready. If you want to stay, cool, you can. But I want people to learn how to fuel their body based on what they're doing. And then they have the knowledge to go forward with, that they can continue to live a healthy life, pass the knowledge on to their family, their friends, their kids, all of the things. And then if at any point they, have slacked off on eating healthy and they want to try to lose some weight again, or they want to fuel up for a race day, they know what to do because they were taught that. It's not me telling someone what to eat. Like, oh, here's your meal plan for the day. Eat this, this, this. That's helpful, but only for the time that you're working with someone. So then after that, you're kind of left on your own to be like, what do I eat?
Yeah. And I'm like a meal plan and stuff like that, it gets very old over time.
Yeah.
Just eating the same exact thing. Like, yeah, you can do that for so long, but eventually you're going to be like, I'm so sick of this.
Yeah. Well, and that's it for sure. And I think sometimes people think eating healthy means it's got to look like all the fancy pictures of people eating healthy.
You got to cut everything out.
Yeah. And it's funny because I watched a reel on Instagram today that this chick was like, what I eat in a day. And she was like, I don't know, a bodybuilder maybe. She eats like 3,000 calories a day. I was like, holy shit. But anyway, she like posted all these like really cute little pictures of her food. She's got like a bagel with peanut butter and overnight oats and fruit. And she's got these fish tacos for lunch with lettuce and all these fancy little vegetables. And then like for dinner is like this gourmet meal of steak and green beans. And like once in a while we'll have like a gourmet meal that I make here. But the reality is that's not the reality for most people. Like my eating healthy is like the same thing for breakfast every day, which is scrambled eggs and some fruit. Like you don't have to do fancy meal prep things or have fancy meals for it to be healthy. And that's what I teach people, and then just how to balance that with foods that you want, because a happy life is a life that also includes foods you enjoy, not just the foods that your body needs. So, I always say like I'm a girl that eats healthy but not too healthy, like healthy enough to be in good shape and fuel my body, but I stopped on the way home and got us a nothing bundt cake to have for dessert tonight because, well, you had a rough day and I wanted to just have a good night. So we had some nothing bundt cakes. So it's like you can't cut that stuff out entirely, and definitely not forever.
No, you can't. It'll make you miserable. You just kind of got to eat a little more in proportion.
Yeah, and one thing, like and I think you are the perfect example here. You like soda.
Yeah, sometimes too much.
Okay, so recently you said to me, you're like, I want to make a little bit more progress. So what did you tell me?
I knew that I needed to cut it out, like cut back on it.
But you kind of go in waves. Like you'll cut back on it for a while, and then it's like, okay, you've made the progress that you want to make, and now it's back into winter time, kind of like hibernation season. So you'll get back into drinking soda a little heavier, and then you'll be like, shit, I need to cut back a little bit again. Like it's always a give and a take, and like an ebb and a flow. It's never just a straight line from here up.
No. And I mean, when I say like I drink soda, it's maybe one a day. But when I like even like now trying to like cut back, or I have been cutting back, like instead of just going full on like cold turkey, I'm gonna cut it all out. I won't have it at all or nothing. I just, treat it more like maybe have it if we go out to dinner once in a while, or yeah, just as like a treat. Maybe have like one a month or
Right.
something more like that, where it's like I'm not completely cutting it out, but I'm cutting back off of it.
And someone else is cutting back. They might only drink soda, so they drink 6 cans a day. So someone else is cutting back might be like, okay, let's try to replace like half of that with water, 3 cans of soda a day and 3 bottles of water. Like that's the whole meeting people where they're at thing. That is what makes our nutrition coaching work for every single person that I've worked with. I haven't had anyone say, well, this doesn't work for me. Like, if I have had 0 people say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, making it more sustainable, making it more doable.
Realistic.
Instead of like, oh, let me just cut everything out and pretty much starve myself and eat a bunch of stuff that I don't want to be eating. I'm just shoving down my throat.
There's so many reasons why that is so terrible and it does not work. And
No, you end up like under eating that way and everything else, which is even worse.
Yeah, I have had to talk to so many people about that, about why what they were doing before didn't work and how this is going to work. And I can tell they almost don't want to believe me, because it's like, no, this is too good to be true. Like, no, really, simple works. What do they say? Kiss, keep it simple, stupid? Like,
Yeah.
Seriously, you just got to try it. So there's a girl that I'm working with right now. She messaged me today to let me know that her leggings and everything are fitting better, and her work clothes are like fitting way looser. She's like, I might have to, get new clothes soon or whatever. And before we started, she told me that she had lost a bunch of weight at the end of last year by doing a major cut. She was eating 500 calories a day.
That's like nothing.
Oh my God, I know. I'm like, no, we're never going to do that. I'm actually going to ask you to eat more food, and you're actually going to lose fat. And that's what's happening. So I asked, I was like, pretty amazing how that works, huh? And she's like, yeah, it really is crazy. So just kind of getting people to like realize that there's no magic detox, magic pill. There's no magic diet.
Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about the weight loss pill.
I know.
That or whatever. I forget which one it is. What's out
There's
right
multiple
now.
ones. There are multiple. I know. But that's the other thing. Like, I've had to talk to people about that too. They're like, oh, well, I take this. And I'm like, that's fine, but you're not going to take that forever. So I want to teach you how to eat correctly, so that way when you're not taking that, you don't put all the weight back on. It's important.
Right. Learn good habits.
So anyways, that was a very long and drawn out explanation of what we do. Briefly, online fitness and nutrition coaching, all custom tailored to people, focused on sustainability, building healthy habits, lifestyle changes. And this is something super cheesy that I say, but it's very true. I don't sell workout programs. I help people change their lives. And I say that over and over again, even though it sounds cheesy, because I freaking believe it. That's what I'm doing. So with that being said, that's what we're focused on doing, changing people's lives that are involved in the motocross community, and changing the sport for the better.
Yeah, and if you want to get a little better on the bike, we can help you out with that too.
Oh yeah, we have clinics too. So we did announce one of those May 18th at TV Land in Ohio. If you're local to Ohio, it's in Pierpont, Ohio, over by the Ohio-PA border, north-ish.
Yeah. Northeast.
Yeah, literally almost to PA. So we have that May 18th. Those are going to be announced. We're working really hard to get those scheduled, but it's really actually difficult to get tracks to let us come in to do this. I really wanted to have a class for women in the Carolinas. I had a couple tracks say, yeah, cool, and then stopped responding to me. So don't think our lack of scheduling these classes is due to lack of effort. It is a constant effort, and it is a constant pain. But I know how valuable they are, so we will keep putting in the work to make these happen. But please be patient with us as we get the dates rolled out. So May 18th for a riding clinic. Let me know if you're interested. We're going to open registration on May 1st. but we limit every class to 15 people. We want to make sure that everyone gets enough attention and gets, enough value out of the class. So I have a priority registration list started. If you're interested, I'll put you on the list and you'll get priority registration, ability to sign up before everyone else on May 1st. Let me know. Or Phil, you can let Phil know too. But otherwise, another thing that we have going on is an 8-week, I called it, and I think it's funny, off the couch to off the gate conditioning program. It's just 8 weeks. It actually times out perfectly with regionals. All of the regionals, all the Loretta's regionals kind of line up at the end of May, early June, which is 8 weeks away. So our normal coaching, but instead of the 3-month commitment, it's 8 weeks just focused on, whatever we need to focus on for you to get you ready for regionals. Or if you're just getting ready to start your local race season, or you're just, looking to ride and have more fun this summer, we can get you on the 8-week kind of race prep program there. So something you're interested in, also let us know. That one is starting April 15th though, and I'm closing registration Friday. So you'll have to let it Friday, which is April 5th. You'll have to let us know like ASAP on that one. But wanted to put that out there. If you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to be working on dirt bikes. Hopefully getting our van soon.
Doing some more racing since the season's hopefully starting up now. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and give us some nice weekends coming up and be able to ride and race and get this season rolling.
I forgot to tell you, I'm supposed to convince you to go to a MERP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so anyway, a MERP, for those of you that don't know, is like a GP style race, part moto, part woods. We tried one a couple years ago. Phil did not like it. I did, so here we are. We might try again. But anyway, stay tuned.
Not the biggest fan of the woods, but maybe it'll come around one of these days.
Well, I'm not either because I can't touch the ground, but
I don't have that problem.
rub it in, why don't you? All right, anyways, stay tuned. We'll have another one of these coming out soon. And as always, if you guys have questions about anything we got going on, let us know. Or just anything in general, moto, fitness, nutrition related. We truly are looking just to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, so like she said, if you guys got any questions, hit us up, let us know. Or if you're at the track, you see us, come by, say hey, shoot the shit, whatever.
Yeah, sounds good. Talk soon.
All right, bye guys.